Hello and welcome to another episode of Bergen Stages Television, our entertainment magazine here at Bergen Community College. I am Jim Bumgarner, your host, and thank you so much for being here today. Before we get into today's episode, I do want to take a minute and thank Marion Coe, Jim Quimby, and everybody in Media Technologies for all their support during this pandemic. With their help, we were able to do 7 virtual productions and 75 radio shows. So we were busy through these 18 months, and it was so great to have them supportive and collaborative in everything we did. So my love and thank you go to the entire team here. But today I want to talk about what's happening at the college. We are going to be back on campus, in person, in the theater, with live actors, doing our first production called The Wolves. It's a play written by Sarah DeLapp, and we have 2 of the actresses from the show. We've got Paloma Viscano. Did I got it? Paloma Viscano and Stella Beretini, actresses from the show. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for coming today.
No problem. Thank you for asking us.
Oh, good. So before we get into talking about the show, because it's such a fascinating show, I snuck in a rehearsal and watched what you guys have been doing, so I'm so excited to talk about the show. But before that, I thought we'd talk about you guys and let the audience know a little bit more about you. Stella, we go back a little bit.
Yes, we do.
How did you get to Bergen? What is your history before Bergen?
So I was actually homeschooled. I didn't go to any formal school. So I came here when I was 16 years old, which means I kind of had to rush a little bit, you know. But I've been here 3 years. This is my last semester, fingers crossed. So I'm finishing up my last 2 classes, and I'll be graduating with my degree. But I decided that I really wanted to pursue acting because I knew from high school experiences that it was something I was really interested in. So I decided, since it was a local school, I had friends who'd gone here, and I'd heard really good things about the theater program here, that I would try and major in acting and, you know, try to do as many of the performances as I could. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years.
You have, and we'll get to talk. Gosh, I cannot believe you're about to leave. This is upsetting me a little bit. And Paloma, you're the newbie.
I am.
You are the newbie.
Yes.
So welcome to the college. So how did we get you? Where did you come from?
So I actually come from Hudson County, North Hudson County, and I used to live in West New York. I came from Memorial High School's Performing Arts Academy, and I had heard from my mentor, Beth Bauer, who is an amazing teacher, that Bergen Community College has an amazing theater program, and I got into a lot of wonderful programs, but I thought I would want to stay close to home, stay with my mom. And
thank you, Beth. And did you do any shows while you were in high school?
I did. I helped write and direct a production that our Performing Arts Academy all worked on together, called Nuestro Rostro. And we performed it digitally because a lot of things have been hectic and this very crazy past 2 years actually. It's been a while now, but I'm happy to be at Bergen. It's a
So
cool
when
place.
did the acting bug bite you? When did you know that you wanted to be a performer?
Since I was a kid, actually. My mother is very into the arts, and I used to do classes at the theater in Union City, the Park Theater.
The community theater.
Yes, the community theater.
What did you do? What shows?
I didn't do any shows, actually. I just stumbled into a acting class that wasn't even for kids my age. It was for kids much older, but the teacher let me stay, and that's where it started.
Thank you, teacher. Oh, that's cool. And Stella, being homeschooled, did you have the opportunity to perform as well?
I did. I was part of a really small theater group located in Middlesex, New Jersey, and we would put on shows occasionally. I also did a lot of speech and debate, so I was performing, but I definitely had a lot of stage fright. So definitely, I don't have as much experience as you because I was always very hesitant to do anything acting related, anything on stage in front of a crowd. But I did eventually take acting classes in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and it was there that I kind of realized this isn't about being watched. It's not about what people are seeing. It's an internal thing. It's the same as writing, or it's the same as, you know, expressing a story in any other way. So I kind of was really drawn to that specifically.
And this was a community group in Bloomfield, like
yes,
Paloma had done?
I actually cannot remember the name of it presently, so I feel bad.
But it wasn't attached to a school, high school, or anything.
No,
like
so
that.
it wasn't.
just
I
its
never
own
did
independent.
anything attached to high school
Cool.
or it was all different local communities. I did a few community theater programs and plays, but nothing too major.
Yeah. But we got you here, and you just blossomed the minute you got here.
Well, thank you.
Picnic was your first?
Picnic was,
What
yes.
all did you do here? You did.
Picnic, I did Fahrenheit 451, Eurydice, and Goodbye Charles, and now The Wolves.
And not to mention how many radio shows you've been involved in.
Who knows how many radio shows? A lot
You were
of
part of the
radio
ensemble
shows.
that were just so dependable. And your experience with Picnic was Professor Mary Clifford, who just
Yes.
retired,
Yeah.
directed that one. And you worked with Ken Boniface, who just
I
retired
did,
as well.
yes, I know, and he's in Georgia now.
In
Good for
Georgia.
him.
And so those are the two in-person live, and
Yeah.
both of them have been in the Lab Theater.
Yes.
And this time you're going to be in the Saccone Theater.
Yeah. So again, kind of going back to that stage fright thing, I never did any of the Saccone theater shows because they were big shows and they were often musicals. So there was hesitance there for me to get on that stage. But it is nice with this show because it is a small show, and I think it's a show that would be typically done in a black box. So to see it done in our large theater, it kind of changes the way I feel about it a little bit.
Oh, we'll get into that in just a second. So let me just pick on Paloma a little bit there too. So you write. Is writing something you want to do at some point?
Oh no, I think the playwrights do an amazing job. I've tried my hand at it quite a few, programs and stuff, but it's very much not my thing.
Not your thing,
No.
not your thing. But it's a great learning thing, and
Yes,
you have
it
a much
is.
bigger respect for playwrights for what they do. and that sort of
Absolutely,
stuff.
it is not an easy job.
And now you're here at the college, and this is your very first production.
Yes.
And this is your very first semester.
Also,
Sweet.
yeah.
And if I remember right, you're president of the theater club now.
I am president of the theater club now.
Congratulations.
Yes,
So
thank
just
you.
for our audience that didn't even know we had a theater club, but maybe some of the other students watching, what is the theater club? And I know
So-
you're involved with it too, Stella. I don't think you're an officer
quite a
this
little
year?
bit.
I
no.
am somewhat involved. I was a recruiter, so I can take credit for recruiting Paloma, but
Yeah.
I'm not currently very involved just because of how busy my schedule is. So she can probably offer more input on that.
But it
Yeah.
sounds like the club allows flexibility. If you're not
Yes,
there this
of
week, you
course,
go. So
yes.
talk a little bit about the club while we're here.
I mean, kudos to Stella because she really did recruit me from the first day I was here. Looking at the college, she took me to Chacon to see it. And a theater club, while theater club is open to anybody who would like to come at any point, we are doing, improv activities and working on, just people's passion towards theater and using that in fun ways, outside of the classroom, because a lot of people in theater club are also theater students, they're working towards a degree in it like I am. And it's always fun to just let loose and, break away from the curriculum and just play a bunch of improv games or just get to know each other and build an ensemble.
Right, and you've got some non-actors in there too. You've got
Yes,
some
we
tech
do.
people that just kind of enjoy, the camaraderie of having a club to
Yeah.
come to and talk about it.
Yeah, it's something about ensemble that draws people in.
It just brings them in. And Professor Health and Professor Janitis are your co-advisors for
Yes,
the
they
club,
are.
and you meet like Wednesdays.
Wednesdays at 12:30.
Great,
If
great.
anybody's interested in joining, they can come at any point.
And B306, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, B306, you guys are in. Great, great, nice big room, keeping social distance.
Yes, yes, of course.
I know we don't appear to be masked today, but we've all been vaccinated and take care of ourselves very well. But when we are on campus, everybody is wearing masks, and even in club and
Yes.
doing improv exercises. So,
course.
so that's cool. So again, congratulations for
Thank you
becoming
so
president of the club. I
much.
know you got a big job
Thank
ahead of you
you.
and a lot of planning to do with the
Yes,
club. But
yes.
you had mentioned, and Stella, you're leaving me at the end of the semester. As theater majors, what do you take here? What kind of courses does one come to Bergen Community College to take?
Well, I can share I think my course experience might have been a little bit different because I did kind of start with all the theater-related stuff, and now I'm finishing up on my general eds.
So
I took all the theater stuff first, and now I'm taking a lot of environmental biology, my natural science classes, and those kinds of classes ended up coming last for me. But in terms of the theater things for the degree, for me personally, it was very acting focused because I did pick the acting focused major in theater. So the classes that I took basic acting, I took audition techniques, scene study, and so all of these were very interesting because they were all that focus on the script itself, and we really dug very, very deep into the individual performance as opposed to being on stage, as opposed to the bigger aspects, I think. So I never really took any musical theater type classes, but I took Mary Clifford's audition class, and that is definitely one of my favorite classes that I think I've ever taken.
Cool.
Here.
And I think it gives you all the tools for your tool belt. So once you get out of here, whether it's to another school or something like that, you're ready to, you've got all these tools, and that is what these classes help you with. And then you get to use those if you're performing on stage as well, which is kind of great. So you got the AA degree in theater with the option in acting.
Yes, I did.
Cool. And Paloma, you're an AFA degree? Are you in the AFA program?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay, we'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. The degree has kind of changed since Stella started here, which will give you more theater classes to take.
Oh.
But you do take gen eds, which of course gen eds are like your history and your sciences and math and English and writing and all those kind of classes. But the AFA kind of focuses on more theater classes as well, which is kind of cool too. But I'll check and figure out which program you're in to make sure you're on the right track. But it was interesting what you said, Stella, because you can swap it around. There's no set that you have to do 3 of these and 2 of those and 1 of those. You can design it the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
You happen to do all your fun theater stuff first, so that you've got all this brain stuff to have to focus on now.
Which I believed at first I thought was a mistake, although when the pandemic did hit, it actually ended up being kind of a blessing because I'd gotten rid of those in-person classes that wouldn't have translated properly to a virtual setting. So I took my histories and I took my anthropologies and I took all of those online, which worked.
Perfect.
But I had gotten out of the way my performance and production and scene study and all that. So.
Which, you're in an acting class right now, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in 2 acting classes.
Yeah, you're with Professor Janitis'
yes,
basic
I
act.
am.
So could you imagine that being done virtually?
Well, I mean, for a while, my acting classes were virtual. Finishing up my high school tenure,
Right.
and it was a lot of Zoom and a lot of stalling and not knowing what to do, and it was difficult for my teacher, and we all feel for each other and missed each other a lot, and it still has a point. It doesn't translate quite as much as in-person classes do, but it is an experience.
And being theater people, you're troopers, and you're going to make it work, whatever you got to do. But it was all about the technology. It's kind of how you get this technology to work. And I'm talking when you're talking, and now you're blubbing me out, and it's like no.
It's frustrating.
But it was a learning experience, and I think some of this we'll take with us to kind of remember there. So,
Definitely.
So Stella, what are you thinking about doing when you finish Bergen Community College?
Well, currently I am looking to really start doing more professional acting work. I want to kind of bulk up as much as I can, and I'm looking to apply to NYU next year.
Okay.
So they have that.
Steinhardt or Tisch?
Steinhardt.
Okay.
But I was looking because we have our transfer program to NYU. So since it's such a wonderful opportunity, I was looking to transfer and not get a BFA, but perhaps get a BA, finish that up, and maybe in something other than acting, but keep bulking up and keep honing my skills on the side while I study.
Yeah, good. So, and I think that's right. Yeah, the CC Top program is a great program with our relationship with NYU Steinhardt, especially this school to get into. So that's great. So you're going to take like at least a semester off, if not a little bit longer, before you do the transfer into it. But that's okay, and you got a great GPA, so you'll be fine. Paloma, I know you're early in this process. Have you thought about what you want to do once you finish Bergen?
Yes, I'm probably transferring out.
Not sure where.
I got into Pace previously, into Dyson, and so I would love to be at Dyson again.
Great.
Or Ryder, So any of the schools in New Jersey
you'll go in as a rising
amazing.
junior, so you've taken all your gen eds and stuff here, so that when you get there, you're just doing, like Stella, just do the stuff that you enjoy doing the most, which is your performing. So now we're going to get into talking a little bit about the show and what your roles are in the show and the process of that. It's called The Wolves. Why is it called The Wolves?
That's the name of the team.
Well, that is the name of the soccer team. So it's a team of, it's a high school team of girls playing soccer. They're not all from the same school, so it's not a school team, but
it's a club team.
It's like a club team.
Cool.
But they're entering a lot of games, so every scene is a warm-up before they go to play, which is, it's definitely interesting to hear just being on stage, there's a lot
This whole
of
process
cacophony around you of just voices speaking.
Everybody talking at you, yeah.
And you really feel like you're a part of this this warm-up process before the game. Like you feel the nerves, you feel the adrenaline, you feel ready, and at the
Great.
same time there's this
I'm
self-consciousness.
going to interrupt you because we're going to take a short break, and I
Yep.
really want to get into talking about this and what drove you to audition for this show. So we're going to take a really quick break and then get back to talking to Paloma and Stella about The Wolves and our production about to open on November the 5th. Come right back.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Hi, and welcome back to Bergen Stages Television. I'm Jim Bumgarner, your host, and today we have two of the actresses from our upcoming production called The Wolves. We have Stella Beretini and Paloma Viscano. The two of you are actresses in the show playing high school soccer players.
Yes.
So before we get into the text of the show and all this kind of stuff, what was the audition process like? Did you have to be a soccer player to be in this show?
No, absolutely not. No, because a lot of us wouldn't be in the show if we had to
Absolutely
be soccer
not.
players to be in the show. Not all of us have experience. I think, in fact, only maybe one or two of the cast members have experience with soccer. The audition process was interesting. It was 2 nights, and depending on whichever night you went to, you read a few lines, and Lee Janitis would watch you, and it was nice because you were in a group. It wasn't just one by one.
Oh,
It
cool,
was-
cool.
yeah.
So it just was an individual doing a monologue or something like that. You just got up and did some scene work with people like there.
I think what was really interesting is before we even started reading these scenes, she actually had us form small groups, and she gave us all soccer balls, and she said, kick them back and forth, and every time you get the soccer ball, tell the group something about yourself. I know you remember this. So it kind of was this moment where we all panicked and we were like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna say? Because we kicked it so many times back and forth in these small groups of ours, and we swapped around. It kind of helped us get to know one another. So when she finally sat us down, she sat us down in a big circle and said, we're going to read a few of the scenes. And at that point, we had all kind of started to get to know each other. We knew facts about each other. We were laughing with one another, and it had this wonderful, like, warm family feeling, which is I've never had in an audition process.
That's cool. What a great idea. Yeah, yeah. And so it just kind of loosened all those nerves because you're
Definitely.
already family.
Yeah.
You're already creating community there. That's awesome. And so you kicked the ball around, and then you worked together in that, and then you waited for the call to find out what
Yes.
was going to happen. That's great. So there are 10 in the show, 9 on the team, and the soccer mom. Is that
I believe.
10 and 11, or
I
Is it
wouldn't
10?
know.
I think it's 10. I think it's 9.
If I count, I could count every player in my head.
I think it's 9 soccer players and the soccer mom that comes in there. And I interrupted you right before the break about what happens in this story. So in it's scene work. It's one long act. We don't do an intermission break in this
Nope.
production. And each scene is what you were.
It's the warm-ups right before a practice. So it's just a bunch of teenage girls having conversations that teenage girls have.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of noise, a lot of talking over each other, a lot of funny and ridiculous statements, as teenage girls do, and a lot of pre-game soccer stuff. Stretching.
Stretches. The
Stretches
stretches have
getting
been
ready, which is were you guys consider yourself athletes in any way? Are you runners
No.
or no?
I-
No? Paloma's
I
no,
would
no,
not
no.
consider myself
So
an athlete at all.
I was an athlete. I did play soccer, softball, track, volleyball. I kind of did a little bit of everything, but I was never like a star athlete. But I did kind of try to maintain, so I still do yoga. But even with what I do, this has been kind of tough. Like we have a scene, specifically the beginning of scene 3, we just have to do exercises, running and high knees and things. And every time we get to that, at the end, I'm like, I'm just dying because it's something about that high energy kind of warm up that I just don't do anymore. Not since I was, a little kid playing soccer. So.
Not to mention just the physical, but just getting your breathing right, just to.
Oh yeah.
And then you're talking and trying to have a conversation, and you're listening to other actors have their conversation, which is the interesting part. I think you're talking about there's so much as you call it noise.
Yeah,
And I think it's just
a
all
lot
that
of overlap,
overlapping
yeah.
dialogue that kind of happens, but you're listening for your cue from something that's happening on the other side of the
Yeah.
warm-up area there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge for any actor.
But you're getting there. The whole play takes place where?
Inside a indoor soccer field, so like
yes.
AstroTurf.
On the AstroTurf on the
right,
indoor soccer field.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. And so that's where you are, and every scene you come back into this to play a game. How much of the time do you talk about you play the captain, right? What is your...
No,
what is your,
I play the striker.
the striker, that's striker. And what does the striker do?
So a striker is basically during the game the person who usually gets past the ball to make the goals.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so
And
usually midfield.
Stella, what is your...
So I'm number 46, who happens to be a bench player when we start out this show. So she's the new girl, and she is a bit similar to me in that she never went to formal school and has traveled a lot, and is, brand new to this group of girls and is kind of trying to find her place and hone her skills as a player. So she definitely has to kind of
Take what
come
she
into
can get,
herself
yeah.
as the play progresses. But I'm not a player when we started. So she's bench. She is.
She bounces
yeah,
from place
she's
to place.
classified
She's ready,
as
though. She's
on the bench.
ready someplace there. Which is an interesting thing. Paloma, I think you've kind of referred to, or I mean, I think both of you said, I'm not a professional player, but these aren't professional athletes. They're really a mixed bag, right? They're not all, there's some very key players on the team, and there's some that just kind of, right? Am I?
Well, it's like almost any club team where it's like the people who are playing usually have been playing for a while. So all of the girls actually grew up together, except for Stella's character, number 46, who is new to town and just joined the team. But other than her, all the other girls have been playing soccer since they were little kids, probably since they were like 6 years old, I think. I'm not sure if it's
So accepting number
exact or not.
46 is one big thing that has to happen of going, wait, this is the
Definitely.
newbie, and are we going to let her into this nest,
close
as it were,
friend circle.
that you've
They're all
protected.
close friends. They've all known each other for a very long time.
And
know
everything
their
about their lives
families.
and all their history. And how much of the time do you even talk about soccer in the show? How focused do you get to what you're about to do? Because you're all about to get to play a game, right? You're exercise, getting all the warm up, and then you're going to play. But do you talk much about what you're about to do?
Yeah, we do. We do quite a bit. There's also a lot of like personal drama and stuff, but
It's not a
there's
Mean Girls kind of thing.
It's not.
It doesn't have that flavor at all. It
that
doesn't-
that actually was very remarkable to me because I was a little worried as someone who had like experiences feeling a bit outcast in high school and especially in sports. There was a moment where I was like, oh, is this just going to be a repeat of my experience? But there's something very human about the way that everybody interacts, even though there are characters on the team who are less kind and who are a bit unforgiving. There's still something just very understandable about the way, why everybody does what they do. Mean girls are not mean just because there needs to be a mean girl. They're mean because something's going on. There's something hurting, something's
and that's
happening.
what you're finding out now too about each of your characters.
Yes.
Is what is that that's hurting, or is it an outside force or something inside? And I think
no one is a
that's-
villain.
Yeah.
Good point. Good. I love that. So Sarah DeLapp wrote this play, and when she wrote it, she didn't give the characters' names for the most part. You don't really refer to each other's names. You refer to your number that we see on your jersey, so we get to know your number.
Yeah.
Is that odd to be in a play that you're a number?
It definitely is strange to not have a name associated with who you are, and especially to not say names. Like we barely say the names in the play. I think there are
Even
a
the
few
numbers,
times.
you don't even say.
We definitely don't say the numbers
Yeah,
because I
but,
think
hey,
that would be
46, how you doing?
more unusual. But actually, one of the kind of assignments that Legionitis gave us was she said, if you want to go home and think, what do you think your character's name is, and keep that internal. So I don't know if we've all thought of, but some of us have names internally
Cool.
that we have thought of, and we felt like this is a fitting name, but we're not going to share.
Awesome.
know?
Yeah, it's not important. It's just something for you to know. And it's
Yeah.
good to think that you got a name as opposed
Yeah.
to just a number too. But the number becomes your name And so we get used to it as an audience member because we just kind of get that. We're just going to call you 46 as opposed to calling you Stella. But that totally works there. So now you're in the rehearsal process. You're blocking, moving the actors all around on stage, and getting used to all these different exercises that you're doing to get ready for your games there. So like we talked about, Legionitis is your director. Marina Talley has already given you some things to wear too.
Yes.
Your cleats, don't you already have?
We do. I think some of us are still in the process of getting them, but I do. I feel very fortunate because there is something, you put on the cleats and you're like, I'm an athlete now, but she's given us those. Does it change the way you walk? It definitely does because there's, you can feel the sole of the shoe, and it feels very different to an ordinary shoe. I had and it does kind of take you back. It's like a sense memory for me that I'm like, this feels like being on a playing field because you can feel the turf. We've put down turf on the stage.
And I think it's so important. I mean, we've got quite a ways away till you open, but it's so great to start. Do you have yours yet, Paloma? Are you waiting?
I do not have my sneakers.
Well, just wait. It'll be such an experience to have.
I'm sure it will be.
I think we've just been dealing with pandemic delays.
We do, however, have the socks and the shin guards.
Oh, right. All those kind of things. So you feel all those on you. And those are really tight socks, if I remember.
Yes, they are. They're like compression socks. But they're not that bad. They're kind of comfortable.
But does it give you a good feeling? Do you feel like the athlete once you put these kind of things
it definitely takes
on?
you back to like when you used to play soccer and stuff.
Shorts and shirts and all that kind of stuff.
And your little jersey and stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And it's, and because you're exercising, so you might as well be in something that simulates what you're going to be wearing now during this rehearsal process, because you're sitting all over the floor and stuff, and how are you sitting? And, you just want to make yourself, comfortable but not overexposed, I guess, as it were, depending on what those shorts are wearing. And again, we have the AstroTurf already out that you're getting used to working on that and running around and kicking the ball and all that kind of good times that you're having and running and popping your legs up there. So now we're heading towards opening, and we're going to throw in sound effects and lighting and all that kind of stuff. So what happens now? What is the process for you as actors do you feel like you're getting ready to do?
Work in all the technical soccer stuff that comes with like when we're speaking, because we're also doing exercises and like practices that normally people who play soccer would do before like warm-ups and stuff. So working the precise movements that we're supposed to be doing at precise moments.
It's all about timing in this particular, right?
Yeah, we actually, tonight we're going to have a rehearsal, and I believe the first hour is going to be devoted to something called the spider web, which you probably know more about because my character's not on stage for this particular exercise, but it's a very intricate ball exchange between a whole network of players that are.
Oh, cool.
They've called people specifically to work on that. So
wow.
Right now we really are, we get the lines, and now it's kind of just, being fully in the moment, being able to not have to think about, what we're doing with our feet.
And it's almost second nature for you because you guys have, except for Stella's character, you've all been every week coming. It's every week or every month?
It's got to be more
every Saturday.
Every Saturday. So you come and you do these exercises. They're like second nature to you. So you as actors have to make us feel that they are, that you're not just thinking about these for the first time. You've been just doing them as a natural thing. And what you're saying is you just need to make it feel like it's a natural thing happening there.
Yeah.
So we're starting to throw all that together. Then we'll get into the technical aspects of it, dress rehearsals and all those kind of fun things. And then the show opens November 5th.
It does.
It runs November 5th and 6th, and then the following weekend, the 11th, 12th, and 13th. And it's in our Viscano Theater. It's evenings at 7:30, and then we have matinees on Saturdays at 2 o'clock. We also have a audience talkback with the cast and the director. Christine Eubank is going to be kind of facilitating, moderating it to talk about the issues in this particular play. And then the Friday the 12th, we have a sign-interpreted production. So we have sign interpreters there for the hearing impaired to be able to enjoy what you're doing, and what a complicated show to be signing for that. So much is happening in the next few weeks to get you up for opening night, but we know it's going to be splendid. So I just want to thank you guys for being so much a part of today's show. I hate that we're done, but we're so excited about you opening up. We cannot wait to see live theater here at Bergen Community College again, and you guys are the ones to bring it back to us. So Stella, Paloma, thank you so much for being here. We want to thank you so much for joining in today's show, and please come see The Wolves at the Viscano Theater opening on November 5th. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.